Voila! Your own electrolyte powder! Hello my friends, and most welcome to Kuhn's Kitchen. This is the channel where we cook efficiently while also learning about and trying to avoid processed foods or ultra processed foods. Today we're not really going to cook, we're going to play scientists and make our own electrolyte powder. I work out a lot and I live in Florida and I sweat a lot as well when I work out, so I usually take some kind of electrolyte powder to stay hydrated while I work out. And it's also good to have on days when you go for maybe a long walk or a hike, or also good to have while you're traveling. If you don't take it, it could be a good option, especially if you easily get cramps or so while you're working out. There are so many brands that you can buy to get electrolytes, but they're usually very expensive and they usually contain very unnecessary ingredients like natural flavors or flavoring, or if you buy bottles, they have a bunch of artificial colors that you really do not need in your system. So I have done extensive research on how to make the best ratio of electrolyte powder. And what I found, the best and most researched ratio I found in the book Roar by Dr. Stacy Sims. If you're a woman and work out, I definitely recommend you read that book because I learned so much about how to fuel for performance, but also just how to be healthy in everyday life, especially as a woman, because most of the research on both in the nutrition and food area and in exercise is mostly done on men, and women and men are quite different physiologically. So it's good to see some real research based on women. But honestly, I think this ratio is okay to use for men as well, but I took it especially from Stacy Sims' book, just so you know. And actually in her book, I learned a lot about hydration as well. It's actually extremely important that you mix your electrolyte powder with the right amount of water, because the whole thing with hydration is that you want just the right concentration that you drink, that you have in your stomach, so that it's not more concentrated than your blood, because then some hydration can actually have the opposite effect. It takes out water out of your blood that you don't want. When you work out, you sweat out a lot of water, and if you sweat too much, your blood can get thicker, and then it gets just harder for the body to do everything it needs to do, like providing oxygen to the muscles and also to sweat and control your body temperature. So by then drinking water or with added electrolytes and a little bit of glucose that we'll get into later, you actually can give your body the optimal hydration so that it can take liquid or water from your stomach of the electrolyte drink that you just drank in the right amount and actually get it out to your blood to make your blood thinner or the right consistency so you can sweat properly and regulate your body temperature. We will leave it at that today. We're going to make 50 servings of this electrolyte powder. What you need are glucose. Apparently the best type of glucose for the body to take up most easily without getting GI distress is dextrose. We have it here. So straight dextrose. Why we have some glucose in our electrolyte drink is because it really helps your body to hydrate, or it helps your body move that liquid from the stomach into the blood, so to say. And the concentration we need for 8 ounces of water is 7 grams of glucose, or then we're using dextrose. And then we need 180 milligrams of sodium. And Stacy Sims said that the best form of sodium to use was sodium citrate. I bought this on Amazon. Table salt is usually sodium chloride, but chloride ions can be harder on the stomach apparently. You should look for salt in the form of sodium citrate if you want the optimal, but honestly you can probably make this with regular salt and it will be just fine. So then we're also adding some potassium, and same there, we got potassium in the citrate form, potassium citrate, because it's easier to digest for the body. And see how little it is. It's just like this. The ratios are crazy. And then last but not least, we need magnesium as well. The magnesium ratio was actually not in Stacy Sims' book, but I read a bunch of labels on other electrolyte drinks and powders, and it seemed to be the ratio a little less than half of the potassium, or a little less than potassium. So we're doing 3 grams of magnesium, and also 75 milligram of potassium to 8 ounces of water. So notice that if you drink like 16 ounces, or that is 500 milliliters, which is usually a normal water bottle, you need to put 2 servings of this. And I've tried to make it so that now all of this adds up to be 7.3 grams per serving. So then it will be easy to just scoop up half a tablespoon and put in the water for every 8 ounces of water that you drink when you train. And because we're going to make 50 servings today. So here's my calculation. We need 350 grams of dextrose, 9 grams of sodium, 3.75 grams of potassium, and 1.5 gram of magnesium. Try to do this as exact as possible, and I already measured up in these little bowls here everything that we need. All we're going to do now is simply mix it up very well. First, we put in our dextrose and our magnesium. Oh, got stuck. And sodium, salt, and our potassium. And then we're going to mix this really well, because as you saw, it's mostly honestly dextrose. We don't want all the magnesium in one of our little scoops. Let's just mix this for a while. And let me just tell you about the price of this. You can compare this to whichever electrolytes you buy. So this is 50 servings. And see how like extremely little I used out of these huge packets. So each of these costs between $10 and $20. Honestly, I think I'm going to be able to use at least these 3 for a lifetime. But okay, let's say we used half of the dextrose and it was $10. So this whole recipe of 50 servings come out to under $10. I can calculate the price per serving exactly and put it here on the screen so you can compare. But then you know exactly what is in your electrolyte powder, and you can just be sure that you don't get anything that you don't need, such as natural flavoring or artificial flavors. This has sugar, like dextrose in it. If you want a blood sugar friendly version, you can make this without the dextrose, and you still will get benefits of hydration from the sodium and the other electrolytes. But I'm taking this for optimal performance. And honestly, eating or drinking in this case for health versus performance can be quite different sometimes. But I wouldn't go drinking this all day. I'm only going to use it when I'm working out outside and are sweating a lot, so I can perform my workout well and also recover. Oh, and another thing to think about also, sometimes like my regular food scale can only measure grams. So to be able to measure milligrams, I got this scale on Amazon. I can link it below as well. But now let's just put it all in a nice jar. Okay. Here we go. Voila. Your own electrolyte powder. Nice. Right. We can try a little bit of this. Yeah, let's measure exactly 8 ounces, which is 1 cup. That's 237 milliliters for my European friends. Here we go. And as I said, this is a half a tablespoon measurement. We put it in, a leveled, and mix it up. Let's see. Tastes good, honestly, almost like water, slightly sweet. What I do usually to get a nice flavor in my bottle, I have frozen watermelon pieces and I put them in the bottom of my bottle and then put water or electrolyte, and then it tastes amazing. You have a little bit of natural watermelon flavor that you know exactly where it comes from. So I hope you try this and let me know if it works better for you in your workouts, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.